And my kids found out pretty quick. Number one thing my kids learned in 2020 was how dumb their dad is. Because, yeah, I don't remember how to find the area of a triangle. I do not know what the past participle in the sentence is. I just found out not that long ago that they're called chest of drawers and not Chester drawers. So, oh man, a few of you just learned that as well. I can see it. You're like, man, I did not know that. I didn't know Golden Delicious were apples. This is funny and informative. Yeah, I was actually, I was a very average student in school, but I just didn't apply myself. I didn't get in trouble, but I'll never forget my high school counselor. I give her all the credit for why I'm here now. Her name was Mrs. Winkle, and she brought me into her office one day, and she was like, Sean, you are capable of doing so much more than what you're doing. You need to work harder. She goes, what are you going to do with your life? Are you just going to sleep in and lazy around all day and joke your way through life? And I was like, that's an option? Then yes to that. And so I thank her for all of that. I do love my kids, but I hate my teenagers are doing something I hate. I've taught my kids, like, lying is like my number one thing. Don't lie to me. I've gotten pretty good. When my kids give me bad information, I don't blow up, because if you don't want them to lie, you can't blow up when they tell you the truth. And I've gotten pretty good at that. But my kids, my teenagers specifically, they love living in this area, the gray area. Not quite lying, but the gray area of playing dumb. And if you have a teenager, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because they do that dumb teenage face that, I don't know what you mean, bro. I don't know. I hate it. My son came home from school the other day. He walked in the door. I was like, hey. I go, did you turn in assessment number 7 today to Mrs. Graham? Now, spoiler alert, clearly I've already gotten an email from Mrs. Graham saying your child didn't send in assessment number 7 today, but this clown isn't picking up on it. He starts doing that dumb teenage face. Like, I think I did. Yeah. No, I did. No, I did. Yeah, I think I did. I was like, are you playing dumb with me right now? Do not play dumb with me. I invented playing dumb in this house. Have you not seen me communicate with your mother? I have played dumb at the highest levels for the biggest stakes. Do not play dumb with me, you little rabble-rouser. I already know you didn't turn in assessment number 7. There was lots of hints and clues that you could have picked up on to realize that. The biggest clue being, I called it assessment number 7. Don't you think that's oddly specific? You think I know what assessment number you're on? I don't even know what class this is for. I'm the dad. I couldn't pick Miss Graham out of a police lineup. And then my wife pipes up. She's like, what are you going to do with your life? You're just going to sleep in and lazy around and joke your way through life? I'm like, don't say that to this one. He's not the funny one. But no, I do love my kids, though. I think I'm really focused on right now as a dad. What I'm trying to focus on is I'm trying to teach them, right? I'm trying to teach them how to have better communication, better conversations. Kids today, they can't have like face-to-face conversations, can they, right? It's because of the phones, right, and the texting and the iPads and the social media. So I'm trying to teach my kids, when an adult speaks to you, you give them eye contact, right? If they ask you a question, you answer it and you ask it back. If an adult says, how are you? You say, I'm fine, how are you? I'm trying to teach them this. I'm falling short and I'm making mistakes. We went and saw my wife's family, who live about 7 hours from us. We went and saw them for Thanksgiving. Hadn't seen them in a while. We get in, we walk in the door. They all rush to the front door there, and they're hugging on us. And I hear my son. We hadn't been there for 30 seconds. And the one aunt comes up to him, and you know how it is when you see your nieces and nephews and grandkids. We all say the same stupid things to them, like, oh, look how big you've gotten. You've gotten so big. What have your parents been feeding you? And that's fine for the adults to say to the kids. But that is not so good going back the other way. We haven't been there for 30 seconds. I hear my son Dylan going, well, boy, Aunt Betty, you've gotten big too. What's Uncle Jim been feeding you? Okay. Go get your iPad, man. Go get your iPad. He's like, I gave her eye contact. Yeah. And so 12 years ago, my wife came home from work one day, and she goes, we need to talk. Yeah. As a veteran of the husband community, I know that we need to talk is never followed by anything good. We need to talk is never followed by, you need to be watching more football. It's never that. And she begins telling me about this little boy at her daycare. His name was Keegan. He was 3 years old. I had never met him before, but she had talked about him quite a bit. He was in a tough spot. He had a single teen mom. Yeah, she was into drugs. He was getting passed around. He was getting dropped off by a lot of different people, picked up by a lot of different people every day. And my wife tried to mentor the mother, and it didn't take. And on this particular day, Keegan's mom tells my wife that she has to go back to jail, and she's going to be putting Keegan in foster care. And then my wife just stopped talking. And I was like, yeah? And she goes, well, she goes, I think we should adopt him. And I wish this wasn't true. I wish I could tell you a different reaction that I had to that, but an alarm of no's went off in my head. I wish my heart was different, but it was not that time. It was an alarm of no's. I was like, no. Right? This is not our plan. We already had 4 kids at the time. We were paycheck to paycheck at the time. We didn't have a big enough home at the time. It was just no. But surprisingly, none of that came out of my mouth. What came out of my mouth was, you know what? I can tell this is important to you. Why don't we get the kids settled, and we'll go out to a restaurant, and we'll eat, and you can tell me what's on your heart. And I know some of you right now are thinking, well, that was the Holy Spirit working right there. But it wasn't. I told you this is a true story, and the truth is I love to eat out. And I saw this as a perfect excuse to go eat out. And I wanted a public place to tell her no. God had to do a lot of work on me. We get the kids settled. We get in the car. Now, we live in Lexington, Kentucky. If you've ever been to Lexington, you know that we have more restaurants per capita than any city in America. That's not a joke. That's just the truth. There's a million restaurants to choose from. They're always packed. Apparently, nobody in Lexington can cook. Except for my wife. So, you can tell her I said that. And we get in the car. She let me pick the restaurant. So I picked Johnny Carino's. Now, do you guys have Johnny Carino's here? No. Do you have Olive Garden? Half of you said yes. Half of you said no. Some of you need to get out more. They have unlimited breadsticks. So, anyways, Johnny Carino's, nothing fancy. It's like an Olive Garden. It's a chain Italian restaurant. But at Johnny Carino's, let me tell you, they bring out this bread, and it's unbelievable. Here's what I do at Johnny Carino's. And this is the only restaurant I do this at. I should be embarrassed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Is they bring out that bread, and I eat all that bread. And then they bring more bread, and I eat all that bread. And then when I know I can eat no more bread, and they say to me, do you want more bread? I say yes. So I can take it home and eat it later. And I know I shouldn't do that, but I always do it. I'm never not going to do it. I love that bread. So we get to Johnny Carino's. It's packed, of course. We get seated in the middle of the restaurant. Our server comes up. She's very bubbly. Hi, my name's Shannon. I'll be taking care of you today. Let me get your drinks started. And then she goes, do you want me to bring you out any bread? And in my head, I'm like, open with the bread, Shannon. I mean, are people saying no to the bread? If so, bring us their bread. I didn't say any of that. I gave her our drink orders, and I was like, yeah, I guess we'll try the bread. Buckle up, Shannon. So Shannon leaves, and my wife is sitting across from me. I'll never forget it. She was really quiet and really silent. Maybe she was in prayer. I don't know. She was twirling her spoon, and before she could say anything, she whips around and looks behind her, and she looks back at me, and she turned. It was just white as a sheet. It looked like she had just seen a ghost. And she whips around again. She looks back at me. Now she has tears in her eyes, and I'm like, "What's the matter?" And she goes, "Sean, do you see the older couple sitting behind us?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Sean, do you see the little boy at the table with them?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Sean, that little boy is Keegan." The exact time, the exact place, the exact location inside that place that we chose to sit down and have a conversation about this little boy and how he may or may not fit into our lives and our plans. I kid you not, he was sitting 5 feet from us. And now my wife is just bawling at the table, and she's like, She's like, what is happening right now? She's like, say something, what's happening? And I reached across the table, and I grabbed that same hand that was twirling that spoon, and I squeezed it, and I told her, I said, I believe what's happening right now is that Shannon has forgot about our bread. I mean, is she back there making it from scratch? Apparently, it's like a second miracle in this restaurant tonight to get some bread to this table. My wife and I, we sat in that meal, and we sat in complete silence. Everybody around us for sure thought we were fighting. And we did not discuss adopting Keegan, mostly because he was sitting 5 feet behind us, but also because sometimes God comes into your life and he reveals these plans that he has for you, and these plans are good. And so we left the restaurant that night with just two very important things. One, we left with a bag of that bread. And two, we left knowing that somehow, some way, we were going to have a fifth child in our family, and that God had this plan for us. And in fact, in the middle of the meal, I actually leaned over and I snapped a quick picture of him, and I slid my phone over to my wife, and I go, check it out, it's the ultrasound picture. Surprise, we're having a boy.